The effort illusion. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 305 of the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and this is the first of the usual couple of episodes of the Weekend Drop, the shorter version of the Shower Podcast, where I try to give you a simple yet powerful enough idea for the weekend. Before we start, as usual, if you end up liking this episode, remember that liking and subscribing really mean a lot for me. They're just one click, but they really make the difference. Thank you very much for considering it. You know that little voice that says, if it was easy, it doesn't really count, right? And that's not discipline talking. That's a mental shortcut. Our brains often treat effort as a stand-in for value. So when something feels smooth or quick, we instinctively downgrade it. The risk is obvious. We overrate the grind and underrate smart leverages, templates, tools, and methods that remove friction. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why easy sometimes feels wrong, how psychology explains that feeling, and how to flip it so you keep the results and lose the unnecessary struggle. Here's the kicker. When we don't have perfect information about quality, our minds grab a proxy. Effort is a very seductive proxy. Harder must mean better, right? We tell ourselves that sweat is proof of worth and that shortcuts are suspicious. But proxies are blunt instruments. Sometimes a task is hard because the path is bad, not because the outcome is noble. Think about everyday life. When you see a long queue, you imagine, that place must be amazing. Or the product you like more because you assembled it. None of these are inherently wrong. Sometimes lines do form around great coffees, and DIY can be wonderful. The trap is when the feeling of work becomes the evidence of value. If you conflate pain with progress, you'll choose workflows that burn time you could invest elsewhere, and you'll ignore solutions that are elegant precisely because they're easy. Psychology has a language for this. One thread is effort justification. When we've paid a high cost, our minds upgrade the outcome to reduce dissonance. It must be good. Look at what I went through. Another is the famous IKEA effect. We overvalue things we built or tinkered with ourselves compared to equally good ready-made versions. These tendencies are human, not flawed. They help us feel agency and pride. But they also bias evaluation. Effort can amplify attachment even when quality is unchanged. That matters in work and learning. You might rate a labor-intensive slide deck as better than a templated one, or a painstaking routine as superior to a streamlined system, simply because it costs more energy. The takeaway is never work hard, is to separate cost from value. Ask yourself, if this result magically appeared with less sweat, would it be any worse? If the answer is no, then difficulty wasn't a feature, it was just friction. So here's the usual weekend drop challenge for you. Pick one routine task you usually do the hard way and intentionally do it the easy way. Use a template for your presentation, let your phone categorize receipts, order groceries with a sensible list instead of wandering aisles. Then evaluate the outcome with 2 questions. Did the result actually get worse? Or did it only feel less legitimate because I skipped the grind? If quality holds, keep the shortcut and reinvest the saved time into something that clearly matters. Focused work, a workout, a nap, a walk with someone you love, whatever you like. Effort is a cost, not a credential. When you stop worshipping difficulty, you start measuring outcomes. And that's the shift you need. That was all for today from the Weekend Drop. Thank you very much for listening. If you made it so far, thank you very much again. Feel free to interact with this content in any way, shape, or form you like. Liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting. It's always welcome. And as usual, stay consistent, stay resilient. This was the Shower Podcast, and I'll see you tomorrow.